All right, what's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Welcome back to Horror Hangout. Me and Josh are doing something a little different this week. Chris was busy traveling, so instead of doing Shopcast this week, we're just going to do the Horror Hangout podcast and talk about a horror movie specifically. And I told Josh to think of something he wanted to watch, and he just threw out, "Hey man, want to watch The Blob?" And I was like, "Yeah, fuck, of course I do." So we watched The Blob, 1988, The Blob, and we're going to talk about it in a second.
Yeah,
Boom.
excited to
Thank
talk
you
about it.
for anybody that's hanging out with us now or later. We do appreciate it. If you see this in the future and you wouldn't mind, subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 1,500 subscribers on this channel. That's a big goal. It's a big, big landmark one, man. 1,000, 1,500, and then like 5,000 are huge. They're so hard to get to. So, if you care and you want to do that, that'd be awesome. Yeah, dude. So, I watched another movie today that kind of it really more has in common with your shirt than anything. I watched fucking Shockwaves finally. And
Okay,
gotta
heard of that
say,
one.
man, gotta say, I'm gonna have to rewatch it because it was so fucking boring in the first act that I fell straight asleep. Like, and I don't even mean like sort of asleep. I mean like I'm pretty sure I was snoring. Like I was like
Oh wow.
out, dude. Like it was so boring. But I also thought this was an 80s movie, and it is not. It's from 1977. So when I found that out,
Okay.
I had to completely change my frame of mind and like what I was expecting. Because when you're expecting a movie from the 80s, you're expecting this. When you're expecting a movie from the 70s, you're expecting this. They are not the
Yes.
same kind of movies. So I do want to
Tone
give it
and
another try.
pace.
Yes, dude,
Mhm.
tonally, specifically with the tone. So I don't want
Mhm.
to just like shit on the movie, but I want to rewatch it. What's up, Jake? Um, Dude, same old shit, different day, man. Talking movies and music. That's what we do over here. But yeah, I was a little disappointed, but whatever, man. The Blob, we watched it last night. I was gonna do a gore score for it, but I didn't want to have to like. I just wanted to enjoy it because I hadn't seen it in so long.
Yeah.
I did jot a couple things down pertaining to a gore score, so I might rewatch it tonight and actually do a more straightforward synopsis type review video that's like 5 minutes so people can see what was in the movie. But
I was curious if you were gonna do one because there's a lot of gore and severed limbs in this. It's actually
yeah,
more brutal than I was
yeah.
expecting.
Well, so since I didn't expect it to be that brutal, I didn't prepare for the one because I thought it was going to be because my memory of this movie is from when I was like, dude, maybe 12.
Uh-huh.
So wasn't a very good memory, I can tell you that. On in hindsight, it was not a very good memory. I just remember it being fun and zany and kind of crazy, which is
uh-huh.
accurate.
Uh-huh.
But I must have watched it on TV or something, man, because I don't remember any of this shit, dude. Like all the dude be like, looking like coming out of the fucking thing out of his mouth. I was just
Oh
like,
my god,
oh, here we
dude.
go. Carissa liked it though. We had a good time, but I did write down that there were 16 kills, and I thought that's way more than I thought. So I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch this one while I still have
And
it
there's
on.
some that are just off screen too. I mean, quite a bit.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
it just takes over
Well,
the
there's
whole town.
also
So
two people that would qualify for legend status, dude. The sheriff is the guy from the plays the dad in Billions. That guy's in tons of shit. And then the young kid with the feathery mullet, that guy's hair.
oh yeah, that's Matt
He's
Dillon's
in.
brother.
Is that really Matt Dillon's brother?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
What is his name? It's I forget his
Well, now
first
that you say
name,
that, I
but
know his last name is Dillon. I just didn't never could put the two together.
yeah.
He's in
No.
Entourage.
Yeah. He was the main guy one of the main guys in
One of the main dudes
Entourage.
on Entourage. That's where
Yeah.
I knew him from. Matt Dillon's brother.
Uh,
Now
no,
it makes.
when I looked at him, I was like, "Is that Matt Dillon?" No, that's not Matt Dillon.
See
but
that he didn't look like him until you said that. Now I see all the similarities.
dude, he looks so much like him to me.
That's funny, bro. It's so weird how we can see two exact same things and both get a completely different, read on it.
Dillon.
Kevin Dillon.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm gonna go tell Krista that in a minute. It's gonna blow her mind because neither of us realized that. That's amazing.
Oh
But
my gosh.
yeah. So the Blob, Josh, you picked this movie out. Why don't you give us a quick rundown of kind of what it's about?
Sure. Yeah. So it's a remake of a movie, like a 50s B movie, um, about just like a comet that falls to Earth in a small town, and inside is a alien organism.
Dude,
It's
this is
just
like
a blob.
the precursor to Color Out of Space, bro.
Oh, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, think you slept through at least 3. That's amazing.
Dude, I'm almost positive I did. I fall asleep and don't even realize it a lot of times.
Dude, I don't know how you fell asleep in this movie.
There's been so many movies that I don't even realize I fell asleep until somebody goes, "No, this happened," and I go, "What? I don't remember that." And then I watch it again later. And I go, "Yeah, I must have been straight asleep because I don't remember seeing this at all."
That's
my wife's out here putting me on blast.
Wow, that's awesome.
If anybody's wondering, this is my lovely wife putting me on blast on my own show.
I've never seen her pop in like this, so that's
she's like, "Fuck you, Randy, you sleeping ass, fucking falling asleep in movies ass."
Oh my
That's
God.
awesome. Oh man.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like
yes, that is exactly what wives are for, to fucking put us in our place.
For sure.
Oh, so okay. Dude, her doing that surprised me too. I was like,
no,
"What's
funny?" When I saw that, I was like, "Oh shit!"
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, I mean, it's a sci-fi horror movie. It's just about an organism. It's different than like a regular alien. It's just got no shape.
Yeah,
but
it's just gelatinous. Fucking dude, that kid sucks the jello off the plate. I was like, oh, for some reason that really got me. I was like, fucking gross.
Oh yeah. Well, I think they're. So I did. I actually went back and I watched the original one first.
I was wondering if you were gonna do that, you crazy bastard.
And I was gonna. Yeah.
Is it in color or black and white? Black and white, right?
Color. It's color.
Okay.
Yeah. It's I think it's 58. So
okay.
They were doing color by then pretty regularly. It's not very good.
I'm shocked.
At all. It's a pretty poor B movie. It is that's
the least surprising thing I've heard all week.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting much. I've heard that it's not that great.
Yeah, I've never watched it because I've never heard anything good about it.
It is Steve McQueen's like first leading role, though.
Steve McQueen's in that?
Yeah.
It's his now first... I kind of want to watch it.
It like kind of made him a star because it was like a popular movie.
Yeah, no, but I knew that the original one it had like a cult status before that was even a thing. Like it had it had a lot of underground popularity.
Yeah. Well, it was
maybe even mainstream popularity.
It was a cheap drive-in movie. You can tell watching it.
Yeah, dude, drive-in movies were the shit though, man. You think how much fun that was to go back there and just sit in your car and just goof off with your friends and watch some horrible sci-fi shit? Like, how much fun would that have been?
I was watching something they were talking where they're talking about the Blob, and they started talking about the old one, and we're like, yeah, it was a cheap drive-in movie where 96% of it is just people talking in rooms, and then there's like 3 scenes of like the blob rolling around eating people.
That's awesome.
They did that on purpose because they knew that teenagers was going to be making out with their girlfriends for most of the movie.
Oh man,
that's awesome. Stop and get scared.
Babe, if you're still watching this, we should go make out in a car and watch the Blob. Let's go.
Yeah, you can make out for 80 minutes.
Yeah,
it's like an 80-minute movie too. So like
that's good though. At least it's not 2.5 hours of that shit.
Yeah.
They're like it comes out. It's on a double VHS. Fucking The Blob from 1958. Yeah. 3 hours of good times and dialogue.
Yeah.
Do you remember Pineapple Express? You know when they're in the beginning of the movie and they're in that like bomb shelter thing, and he's got the brown haired guy. And he's going, and it's that guy's talking about make it illegal or whatever. I don't remember. It's at the very beginning when they're in this like bomb shelter thing, and it really is like a 50s. That's exactly what this has been. Every time we've talked about this for the last 2 or 3 minutes, I've been having those characters in my head because that's such a 50s throwback scene opening. It was just silly.
It's been so long since I've seen it.
Oh man, that's one of those comedies that like no matter how many times I watch it, I still think it's a pretty funny movie, man.
That one is good. I remember really liking
Danny McBride. The guy's awesome
for sure.
But yeah, dude.
I will say I am glad that I watched it though.
Yeah,
just because you can see what they were trying to do different in the new one because. It's like a very basic plot, but when you see where they took that and they're like, let's put a twist on it, you can like appreciate it a little bit more. So like, because like the Jello on the plate thing is almost them like making fun of the old Blob.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it just looks like a big hunk of Jello the whole time. It's just like a red hunk
Dude,
of
that's
Jello.
amazing.
So
Well, I did love the practical effects of this movie, man.
Yeah.
I loved it, dude. It was awesome. There were so many cool things in this movie, like when old girl's in that telephone booth and it starts to surround her. It just looked suffocating. It was really well done for a movie in the 80s, man. It must have been a lot of work to get that done, man, because it still looks good. Like, it still holds up to me. The hairstyles are out of place, but the practical effects were great, man.
Absolutely.
I loved that good guy kid got killed real early. I thought that was awesome.
Dude, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, so he's basically playing the Steve McQueen character that's like the hero of the movie.
Oh, the one that dies?
So, yeah. Yeah. So when you watch the first one and you watch that movie, it was like, oh, he's like gonna be the main character.
That's what I thought.
And then when they kill him,
yeah,
like 15 minutes in, I was like, oh shit, that's awesome.
Dude, I thought that was a really good little twist, man. And I think I want to get a copy of this and have it in my collection, man.
I'm actually like, I was like, I'll just go ahead and buy it because I want to do a little research and stuff on it. But I'm really glad that I bought it because I would definitely.
I think I'm sold on owning a copy of this one now.
I would definitely rewatch this. I mean,
it'd be a good one to watch with their kids when they're like 13 or 14. You know, when they're teenagers, they're not super young.
Nathan watched it with me.
Did he? Did he like it?
He's
12,
actually,
right? He's 12.
Yeah, he's 12.
Yeah, so that's right around the perfect age for this.
Yeah, he kind of came in right before all the crazy stuff started, and he just sat down and started watching it. And then we saw that, and we like the whole movie. We were just looking at each other, going, "What the? Oh my god!" It was actually fun, awesome. And he actually liked it.
Dude, that makes me happy, man. I like that he's starting to get into some movies with you. It's really cool to see. I wish Bricken would watch more with me. He watches some, not as much, but you know, he's turning 9. It's a pretty big difference.
I mean, he's turning into a teenager, so he's kind of becoming a shithead too. But every once in a while, he'll sit down and it will do something.
Yeah,
together.
dude, 12 is like basically a teenager. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that sucks, dude. I'm sorry. I guess I have that to look forward to.
Oh my god.
Oh man, I'm so psyched to watch what Natalie does to you. Although I don't think it's gonna be a whole lot different than what Charlie does to me, and at the same time. So yay! And we're both gonna be bitching and moaning on the same show every week. Fucking Charlie did this. Yeah, well, Natalie did this crazy shit. Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Man, do what?
I was just gonna say, but it was a good experience.
I really enjoyed the effort put into it. I can't get over the practical effects because I didn't remember it being so clearly real, like clearly physical. Whatever they were doing was now some of it was like clearly like laid over like a small model of something that was still but it was still real. It was still physically there. You could still reach out and touch it, and that makes all the difference to me. I like those. Sure. I'd rather have that.
Yeah, I noticed CG. I noticed especially towards the end when it got really big, you could tell that it was kind of like something overlaid,
scaled down on the model, and then it had like their acting.
It started to stick out a little bit more in some of the the big shots.
It did.
But most of it, I mean, there's so many good kill sequences and stuff in this movie.
There really was a lot of fun in this movie.
A lot of creative ones. My favorite was the dishwasher guy.
Oh, that was awesome! And it was like
sink,
and it like went and bursted out in the pipe.
Oh my gosh. Well, the fact that you like actually like see the guy's like head like go into the sink, I was like, holy shit.
It was pretty gnarly. They did a really good job with that one. And the thing that I was irritated by was super stupid, but I was like, why are you putting your hands in the fucking sink?
Right.
I was like, no. But the actual act of like putting that in the movie and creating it was awesome, man. It was badass. I like that the Blob seemed to have just no. There was because it didn't have like a personal vendetta against one of the characters. It was just like living life form. I'll take you. Oh, here's another one. I'll take you. I really liked that a lot. I liked I liked how they kind of made it. It felt like in the 80s everything was so. What's his name? That did E.T. James Cameron. Spielberg. God, dude, I don't know why I said James Cameron. Spielberg. Well, you know, everything was that kind of movie. It was always like. E.T. had a family element. As a matter of fact, I told Carissa at least once that I thought that sounds very familiar, Jake. But I had I told her at least once in the movie that it felt like E.T. Like when they showed up in those white things, and they were like, "Y'all got to come with us," and they were taking the kids in the back of that thing. I was like, "No, that's straight up E.T. right there." And I don't know what year E.T. came out, but it's got to be older than this, right?
E.T. was 82 because the came out the same year as The Thing.
Okay, yeah, E.T. Man, that's right because it fucked the thing up.
Yeah,
I hate E.T. That movie sucks, dude.
It doesn't suck. It's not as good as The Thing, but I don't love it.
Well, no, it's not. This definitely not as good as The Thing. You know, I know that saying it sucks is very subjective, but I've never been a fan of that movie. When I was a kid, it made me sad. It was just depressing.
Yeah,
and I was like, I don't want to. You know, when I'm a kid, I don't want that. So I was never graduated from feeling about that way about it. But
yeah, it's never been one of my favorites, but I like it. But I mean, speaking of The Thing, I think this falls in like the same camp with like the great like B movie 80s remakes. Like,
oh, dude, for real. That's you know what? As a matter of fact, in something, one of the titles I put, in the Facebook one because I have us going live on Facebook too. Oh, okay. In the description, I said talking about one of the great horror remakes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I think this one absolutely falls in line with the
Thing, the Fly, the Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Like, I mean, like they're all four of those are taking old B movies from the 50s and remaking them with new technology and doing something even better.
Yeah, I this movie made me want to watch The Stuff. Have you seen The Stuff?
I have not seen that.
If you like this movie, you'll like The Stuff.
Okay.
The Stuff is like also, first, before I start talking about that, what the fuck scared you out of a ride at Universal Studios, Jake? Please elaborate. Thank you. It's about this like ice cream frozen yogurt concoction shit. So you know what it is, though? Okay, so it's very similar to when I first saw The Stuff. All I thought was, it's a Blob remake. I mean, a ripoff, which kind of is, but it's probably a little zanier. Even it's a wild ass movie. It's funny.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty silly.
It's very silly. But, I think I have a copy of that one here. I'm pretty sure I do.
So this movie kind of strangely ties in with a movie that the last horror hangouts we did together, which was The Mist.
Wait, you said this kind of ties into it?
Well, yeah.
Like a parallel or something?
No, because of who made it.
Oh,
because the director of The Mist, Frank Darabont, wrote this movie.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
And
I must have not gathered that when I saw his name come across the screen because I'm sure I saw it.
So right before this, he and the same director that did this movie did Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors.
That's my favorite Nightmare movie. Love that fucking movie.
Yeah, we did that on Shopcast not too long ago.
Yeah, that's the best one, man. That's probably like 6 months ago or so.
I think we did it in October.
Okay, yeah, so like 7 or 8 months ago.
Yeah,
something like that. Shit, dude, time flies by, man. October was that long ago already.
Whew. Yeah, I know. It's already May. It's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
But yeah, he was actually, the director was trying to make this movie, and they were like, "No, we don't want to do The Blob, but are you interested in doing a Nightmare movie?" So he ended up doing that. And Nightmare 3 actually made more than the first two combined.
I actually knew that. I knew that Nightmare 3 did really, really well in the box office. I didn't know that it was necessarily more than the first two combined, but I knew that it was the higher.
Because the second one kind of tanked, almost like killed the series.
It was bad, bro. Second one's like,
yeah,
man, that one. I will say this though. The second one has gotten to a cult status specifically in the gay community, and I think that's great because I think every community deserves to have something that represents them. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of funny that it had to come out and like.
Does it belong in the Nightmare universe? But I don't know. But
what? Just that movie in particular?
Does it? Yeah, I mean, I feel like it doesn't belong in the series, but
it's a pretty fucking bad Nightmare movie if you want to be honest about it. I mean, objectively, it is a terrible Nightmare on Elm Street movie, but I'm glad that a whole community has somebody that they can, has representing them and something they can enjoy. I don't take it too seriously. I used to be like, no, man, this shouldn't even be in the series. And, you know. But then you look at Halloween and Friday the 13th, and they all have absolute shithouse movies throughout the series. So
all the big franchises.
Yeah, so I kind of just stopped letting that bother me. But I used to be really weird about that and be like, no, it shouldn't even fucking be in here. No. What's The Outing, Jake? What is that? The Outing? Is it kind of like an outhouse movie? Dude, then we need an outhouse horror movie where the guy goes in there to take a shit and just gets clobbered by this fucking thing that's just got like dookie breath and it's fucking just.
It's just the shit monster from Dogma.
Yes, dude, let's go. Let's go. I forgot about the shit monster from Dogma. Oh, it's such a great movie.
Oh my god.
Man, that movie is so ridiculous. That movie holds up.
Actually, it's good. I watched it not that long ago.
Yeah, it's a good movie, man. I'm a little surprised you liked it, but yeah, I think you like some pretty hammy shit sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Smith always goes a little too blue for me.
Yeah, he's right my alley.
But I appreciate his stuff, and you know, when you watch one of his movies, you kind of know what to expect. It's gonna
be. And that's the best part about watching one of his movies is that if you've seen one, you're like, okay, look, if I'm not in the mood for this, I'll just not watch it. I'll watch something else. And then when you want to watch one, there's no better guy to go to than Kevin Smith because they all have their own flavor too. Because you have like they're all Kevin Smith movies, but then you have Clerks, which is black and white, mostly dialogue. Mallrats, much bigger budget, but still more dialogue driven. Dogma's even more grand with more famous people, not quite as corny, but it delivers some more different themes, if you will. You know, it just they all have their own little like it's all in one big, you know, category, but they have subcategories they all fall into. And you're just like, here's your Kevin Smith box. Go pick whichever one you want for the day. You know, it's I don't know if I'm explaining it very well, but
I know what you mean. Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. What are we talking about here? A horror movie from the 80s. A genie gets released in a museum and fucks shit up. It's entertaining. Well, it sounds amazing. Is it as good as Wishmaster? I doubt it. That movie's fucking badass. Has anybody seen Wishmaster on here where the guy's like, guy's sitting in jail and he's like, man, I wish my lawyer would go fuck himself. And the next scene's like his lawyer at this big wooden desk and he's like writing something down and his leg goes crack and he goes, huh? And so the leg goes crack. He's like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden he's like, huh, and he's like starts fucking himself. Dude, it's the most amazing movie I've ever seen. Have you?
No, I have not seen that.
Dude, it is awesome. Oh man, Wishmaster is like one of the best watch what you wish for type movies because there's a whole bunch of those out there. Hell yeah, Wishmaster, Josh. That's going to be coming soon to a TV near you, sir.
Okay. Sounds interesting.
Oh, it is wild. It is wild. Oh man.
Oh yeah, man. The 80s were the best for this kind of stuff.
Really was, dude. Like when you look at like let's say like 1980 to like 1995, you got about a decade and a half where everything was big and bold and kind of inventive. CG was barely getting going, so you have like these little touches of it in some movies, which made it, in my opinion, even cooler. Like I like in movies when everything's pretty much practical, except like the little zap of like lightning bolt stuff, and it looks very obviously CG. I love that shit, and I wish they would do that more in movies now, where it was like, dude, don't try to make it look real and then not accomplish it. Just make it look ridiculous, and people will accept it. They try too hard and fail. That's not as I don't think that's as good personally, but. You know. Yeah,
no, I agree. If you don't have the resources to make it actually look real, just lean into the fact that you can't.
Yeah. That's I think that would make a lot of movies better.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody about Terminator 2 and how it's so strange that movie's CG still looks so good. Like that must have cost them a fortune, man.
Yeah, I think that was the most expensive movie ever made at the time.
Probably because I watched that with them like a year ago, like less than a year ago, and I couldn't believe how fucking good it still looked.
And it kind of created the whole CGI world that we live in now.
Really?
Use CG in that way until after T2.
I didn't realize that. That's awesome, man.
James Cameron. I mean, you know, you can hate on Avatar and stuff, but I mean, every time he's made a movie, pretty much, he's like changed the way people make movies.
That's cool. I don't understand all the Avatar hate personally. I don't think it's like some perfect movie by any stretch of the word, but every time I see it, which hasn't been, you know, I don't watch it all the time, but I've seen it enough to where I've always enjoyed it. I've
never hated it.
And in the theater, man, I watched that movie in the theater, it blew my fucking mind.
Like, no, I agree. I mean,
I was like, what? Did y'all see that? How was that not beautiful? Like, how did you not think that was cool looking?
Yeah, agreed.
But I do also wish he would stop with the fucking sequel shit.
Yeah, I know. I just
yeah.
want to see him make another cool movie and not like an Avatar sequel.
Man,
I really
yeah,
do not
dude.
care.
Or put his time and money into making some of his movies 4K available. Like,
Sure, yeah.
like put that out there for us, guy. Like that, you'll sell a lot of them. I promise. We are all waiting for it.
Yeah.
Like, I would love a Last Action Hero 4K. Fuck yeah. Or didn't he do Jamie Lee Curtis and Arnold?
Yeah, True Lies.
True Lies 4K, man. Come on.
Give me a True Lies 4K, please.
Yeah, dude. I think
Or The Abyss. The Abyss.
Oh yeah, no. I go with Josh's pick. I'm with The Abyss.
The Abyss would look so good.
I love that movie.
Yeah,
all those underwater horror movies are like some of my favorites, man.
Yeah,
like sci-fi horrors, like aliens underwater, man.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of aliens, I watched Alien Covenant after I watched Prometheus because I wanted to just start watching them all in order.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, chronologically, that's the second movie, and I understand why some people wouldn't like it. I watched it and I was like, wow, this is way not what I was expecting. And there was a little bit of predictability in it. But up until the part where they get on the planet, I thought that movie looked about as good as I've ever seen a movie look in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I was watching it on 4K and here in the office.
Mm-hmm.
And up to that point, even the shit that I know wasn't real looked real. And I paused it and got Chris. I was like, look at how fucking good this looks. And it was like the spaceship out in space. And it was insane, man. It looked awesome. But yeah, the little alien in that movie was fucking badass, messing people up pretty bad. But definitely not my favorite one, but I liked it okay.
Yeah, that movie made me angry.
Did it?
Really?
I don't have a whole lot of I don't give a shit about that franchise like that. Like, I like the first two movies like quite a bit, and I really enjoyed Prometheus. So I guess now I probably like it more than I ever have, but I don't have like a, emotional attachment to it at all. So it doesn't matter to me. But I can understand why you were like, what the fuck? I can understand.
I mean, I went to Prometheus and saw that in the theater, and I loved it. Thought it was a great.
I can't believe how much I like that movie.
I thought that was a great prequel. I thought it was felt enough like Alien, but wasn't Alien.
Right.
And you would get enough of a tie-in at the end. But then they set up this whole thing with the Noomi Rapace, and then in the next movie, she's just gone. And the way that they explain that,
brought her back.
the way that they explain that her not being there just made me mad. And
oh yeah, I didn't even think about that's who that was they were talking about.
Yes,
man, dude, some things just go right over my head, man. I don't know what to do to change it. I don't think I can. It's just how I hear shit and pay attention, I guess.
And the movie feels like it's ripping off just better Alien movies.
It felt like Alien, if Alien was set in a different universe.
Yeah.
And I was like, again, I'm not trying to complain about it and shit on it or anything, but I was definitely expecting the whole being on a planet thing I didn't like. Like, get them off the planet. The alien is supposed to be in the craft. That's the whole idea behind the alien. Like, if you're going to rip off Alien, just rip it off and put it in this.
Well, it's more of a ripoff of Aliens because they are on the planet on Aliens.
Shit, they are, huh?
And the whole end of the movie with I think
I haven't seen Aliens. The second one or the third one?
The second one.
I haven't seen that one in a hot minute, bro.
Most of that one is on the planet.
Okay. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen that one. I keep thinking of Alien 1 and 2 being both in the spacecraft. I guess Alien. I need to watch all these old ones again. It's been a while.
Aliens is my favorite. Personally.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think I remember it being better than Alien, but Alien being so freaking groundbreaking that I just kind of have to give it the crown. Like,
speaking of Aliens, is also James Cameron.
Fucking right. God damn it. I quit.
That was his second movie after Terminator, the first Terminator.
Yeah, first Terminator was fantastic. That is an underrated movie, man.
Yeah.
It never gets the love it deserves. That movie is a straight up horror movie.
It is. That is a horror movie.
That movie scared the shit out of me when I first saw it. I almost didn't watch T2 because I was like, fuck that. I remember that first movie. That shit was scary. Then my friend told me, he's like, it's not the same movie, man. It's a whole bunch of action shit in it. And I was like, I still consider Terminator 2 a horror movie personally, but it ain't close to as scary as Terminator 1.
Sure. I mean, he does that. He does that formula with Terminator and Aliens. Really, like, because the first one is like a straight up like horror like thriller.
Yeah, it is,
Then
huh?
the
Second one's
second
a lot
films
less
are
horror,
like
but still,
much more action. Yeah, much
yeah.
more of an
Like
action movie.
the reason that I always put T2 in the horror genre is because to me, you've got a fucking monster chasing down a kid with another guy trying to save the kid's life, and it's like, it's a slasher movie. So
Yeah,
I can
in a way.
totally understand why somebody would say no, and I wouldn't argue that. I just, for my personal collection, it's in the horror section. Same with
Okay.
Alien. So same with Predator. Predator's in my horror section too. Predator is absolutely a slasher movie. Like Predator follows the slasher fucking layout to a T. Like,
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I can see that more than Terminator 2 personally.
yeah.
Yeah.
Terminator 2, I think more lines, more even if it was just Terminator 2 and it was just called the Terminator, as the only movie that existed out of the pair, it probably would have fallen in my action movies. But since I kind of pair it with T1, I'm like, well, you know,
Sure.
I'm not gonna be like one over here, but that would drive me fucking nuts. But there's a lot of movies like that. That like, I mean, Jurassic Park's in my horror movie section, and I always get sideways looks for that one. And I'm like, well, tell me what about it is not horror. And they're like, well, it's about like dinosaurs. And I'm like, okay, you got a big ass monster. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, what's it doing? They're like, well, it's trying to kill everybody. I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh shit, never mind.
Movie.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. I'm like, yeah, dude, Jurassic Park's absolutely, because when I was a kid, Jurassic Park scared the shit out of me too. I was a kid. I watched all these.
Sure.
Man, I miss that, dude. I miss going to the theater and seeing these movies and being scared out of my mind at a movie that maybe wasn't even really supposed to scare me. Because Jurassic Park scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Those Velociraptors were scary, man.
Man, that part when they're in the
kitchen.
Yeah, and oh my goodness, dude, I was like,
yeah, that's a really good scene.
Dude, it still holds up, bro. Mm-hmm. And even the T-Rex still holds up.
AVP is okay.
Oh, who said AVP? Jake.
Come
on.
The first one's all right, but
I'm not gonna front, dude. I like all the Predator movies. I own all of them, and I watch all of them. They're all badass.
The second AVP is pretty much garbage, though.
Is that Requiem?
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
You know, for a long time, I didn't realize that was a second movie because it looks almost identical, the cover and everything.
Oh, really?
So I didn't see it in the theater. So when I got it, I bought it in a collection, and then I put it at the shop. And then I was like organizing movies one day, and I had AVP and then AVP Requiem, and I had like 2 of each, and I was like, "What the fuck do I have 4 of this for?" And I'm like looking at them, and I'm like, "Shit, this is a different movie." And so I pop it in, and it turned out I had seen AVP Requiem before I had seen Alien vs Predator.
Oh shit!
And so when I watched the first one, I was like, "Oh, this is a better movie." I do think it's a better movie, but I like schlocky bullshit movies. Like the later Predator movies, I liked them, man. The one with Adrian Brody, I thought was a pretty cool movie.
That was not bad. Yeah.
And then there was one more that I think people really hated on, and it was who was in it?
The new one?
Is it pretty recent, right? Like fairly.
I never watched it because I heard so much bad stuff about it.
I mean, I can't imagine that.
It was just called The Predator, I think.
Is that what it was? The Predator?
Yeah.
I know I have it somewhere around here. Yeah.
Yeah. It had like Thomas Jane and a whole bunch of people in it.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, because when I bought it, I bought a 4K and I bought the wrong movie because I was
that.
Yeah. So I've watched it. Oh, it's all right movie. No, this is definitely. Oh no. This is the one that I like a lot.
That's Predator.
Yes, because this is more like a shitty B movie to me. I mean,
okay.
It isn't as good a movie as the other one, but I enjoy it more because it's right. I mean, if you watch this and you go and you don't think I would like this, not you, but anybody that doesn't know me, just understand that when you want me to pick out a Predator movie, this one would probably be second on my list. Like I'd watch number 1 and then this one.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, there's not really any. I haven't seen that one, but none of the sequels are really that great.
No, none of them are. It's just one of those movies that's got an ensemble cast of like B+ guys, and most of them are funny when they shouldn't be. It's like it's got a bunch of unnecessary comedy in it. I love that shit so much.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to watch it. It's Shane Black directed it. Who he did the Nice Guys and Kiss Kiss
really?
Bang Bang. Yeah,
that's this dude. That makes so much sense.
He's in the first Predator too. Shane
Oh,
Black.
really?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
and this movie on 4K looks amazing too. So
I bet,
it wasn't a bad purchase. I was just so irritated when I got it. I was like, motherfucker! Like, oh, that's awesome.
You
I think we were going to talk about the Blob.
I was going to say, you want to steer it back to the Blob?
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, hell yeah.
And let's just go over all the cool like kills and shit, because that's like the best part of the movie.
Let's see if we can pick out which ones I've missed.
So the first big one was the high school kid.
Yeah, that actually was the first big one. Yes, I think it killed the where it fucked up the old dude first.
Oh, the old guy first. Yeah. So yeah, but you just kind of see him. It was cool when they pulled the blanket back and like half of his body is just completely dissolved.
Yeah, dude, that movie had a surprisingly large amount of good practical effects.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. So the kid gets dissolved too. I love that she he's trying to pull his hand out and his arm just like comes off.
Can you imagine that? Just no.
Like the one that really surprised me, made me laugh though, is the guy that's with the girl in the car out in the woods. Is that when you fell asleep?
I don't remember. Just tell me about it so I can laugh with you, because I'm sure I'll remember.
Oh my! If you missed this part, you have to go back and watch it because it's awesome. But so he's like, it was the guy that was buying the condoms. Did you see
that? Yes, yeah, and he had like this trunk full of like all the little rings on the necklace.
he had like a whole bar set up in his trunk.
Creep, and he poured like a glass full of fucking what's that cherry shit called? That stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh dude, I was like, oh dude, when he poured it and he like topped it off with vodka, I was like, ah! Oh, it was grenadine. It was grenadine. I was like, oh man, I worked at a bar for a long time and I just never understood that shit. It was so thick and syrupy. Oh,
yeah, syrup. Yeah, that's gross.
Anyways.
But yeah. So when he goes back to the car to give her the drink and she's asleep, and then he starts unbuttoning her shirt.
Oh, that's right. What a fucking creep.
So he's about to. I mean, he was about to basically rape her.
Yeah.
So when he goes in to cop a feel, like the blob like had already gone inside of her body and just like springs out and grabs him.
Dude, I forgot about that part. Yeah, I was laughing my ass off when he opened his trunk up. He had a little basketball goal thing hanging down. I was like, what is with this dude?
And he was talking about his special ring that he gave her, and he had like a whole box full of rings.
Dude, when I actually made a comment about that, and Carissa was like, well, that's men behaving in the 80s. And I was like, that kind of was, huh? Dudes were fucking creeps back then. Not that we're not creeps now, but we were much more brazen about it back in the 80s.
For real. There's a lot of questionable stuff like that in the 80s.
Dude, a lot. Okay, go on. Yeah. What happens with the next one?
I
forgot that the blob burst out of her and like got her, and
and I thought it was cool, like because you see like the slime like come out of like her mouth and like her eyes and stuff. It was like tendrils coming out of her body.
Just good shit, man. Dude, I want quick detour. Just a quick question. You watched the special features on this?
Yeah.
Did it go into any detail about how they made any of this?
Well, yeah, there's a whole bunch of different stuff.
Yeah,
some of it's
I'll have
miniatures.
to watch it one of these days. That's the kind of shit I like to learn, is like how they make these special effects. That's the stuff that'll get my attention. Yeah. Just talking about like the writing of it and how they did the camera work, not necessarily my bag, but how they made this stuff, I'm always interested in it, man.
Yeah, no, the special effects stuff is really cool. I mean, some of it is a lot of reverse shots and stuff like that. So, instead of like it's like shooting at them, it's like you're pulling it away and you're reversing it.
Gotcha, kind of like stuff. Christine.
Yeah, they do a lot of that in Christine. They do a lot of that in The Thing too.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. It'd be easier to place it on the person and pull it off of them and then rewind it as you're watching it, so it looks like it's shooting. Because you get a more accurate shot that way.
Like a good one to point out in The Thing is the head, when the head like comes off of the body when it's on fire. You know what I'm talking about? After the defibrillator scene, and they're like setting the body on fire, and the head like melts off, and it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, is that a reversal?
No, so when it hits the floor and then its tongue comes out and it starts pulling itself across the floor. That's a reverse shot.
Really?
Because you see like its tongue gets really long and it like shoots out and like grabs onto something to pull itself.
Yeah,
that's a reverse shot. They do
badass.
They do a lot of stuff like that.
That's cool, man. Dude, the magic of making movies. If you can't be interested in that, you're a bored motherfucker, man. That shit is awesome.
Yeah, those things are cool. It's like a magic trick. It's like, it's cool to see.
It really is, especially when you're doing it. This is why I like to listen to Tom Savini talk.
Mm-hmm.
He's always talking about cool shit, man. Like every time I hear him talk about anything that's related to a movie, it is always interesting. And he's like, yeah, I had to do this and this. And you're like, what the fuck? Like we talk about Nightmare on Elm Street, having to, no, Friday the 13th, pumping that blood through. Might have been, I can't remember. Anyways, let's go back to the Blob. When I think about the kill, I'll bring it up later.
Okay. I'm trying to think of what the next one was. I know the sink one had to be.
That was like fairly close. It was not too much further after that because it started. The sink one was one of the more what's the word, like encapsulated kills where it was like still in the same part of the town. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like, this enormous thing yet.
So it was the sink thing. I love when it shoots up out of the drain too and goes on the ceiling. And
bro, shit was awesome. That was awesome.
I bet that was a reverse shot too. Because
you think so?
I'm not exact. I have to go back and look at it, but
because I mean,
some of that
pulling
stuff,
all that down would be much easier than shooting it up onto the ceiling like that.
Yeah, probably. And you mentioned the phone booth. The phone booth one is really cool.
That's for whatever reason, man. Maybe because I'm claustrophobic to a pretty severe degree. Like that one really got me. I watched a movie recently where they were crawling through a. Shit, I can't remember what movie it was. They're crawling through the house that Jack built. He's crawling through this towards the end of the movie. He's crawling through this. I won't tell you really what he's doing because I don't want to ruin anything. But he's crawling through this cavern thing, and it's like it's water up to like here, dude. And then it's like this little bitty cave, and he's like crawling through it. Dude, the whole time I was watching it, I was literally like I was like hyperventilating and breathing and sweating. And I was like, oh my God, hurry up with this scene, dude. Like anything like that, I can hardly watch that stuff. But that phone booth thing, the moment I saw it sliding down the sides of it, all I could think of was like, oh, hell no. If that was me, I'll be running the fuck out of this thing. I'll be getting the hell out of there.
And you see the sheriff's head floating inside of it.
That's when the sheriff dies. Is you see he died right before that, and you don't
even see that death.
Well, that's what I had to ask Chris. I said, did I miss that? And she goes, no, that happened off screen. Is what she told me. I thought for sure I fell asleep and missed that one. But that sheriff was like, he's the first character that I recognized other than Matt Dillon's brother that I was like, oh shit, I know him. I couldn't remember his name, but he's been in so many movies, dude.
Quick detour as well. The main chick. Do you know what she's from?
She is so familiar, but no, I don't. I can't recall.
I went and looked it up because I couldn't. I was like, I don't know what this girl's from, but I've seen her. She is from the Saw movies.
Oh shit!
Amanda. She's Amanda.
Dude, as soon as you said Saw, I knew exactly who she was.
Yeah. Isn't that nuts?
Wow, she aged well.
She really did.
Because I mean, that's from '88.
Yeah.
And the Saw movie was like what, 2010? No, older than that, right?
No, I think it's 2001.
Shit, that old now? Damn.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Time sure does fly by.
I thought Saw was.
No, you're probably
2004.
Right.
2004.
Okay, so 88 to 2004. Yeah, dude, she did well, man. Good job.
Yeah.
I knew I recognized her.
That was driving me crazy.
I couldn't figure out what either. I should have looked it up too. That'd have been a cool little tidbit to drop in your lap. You'd have been like, "Damn it, he got there." But yeah, that was wow, dude. Wow, Saw.
Yeah.
Way to keep it in horror, young lady.
I was like, that kind of blew my mind.
Well, the whole time I was watching the movie, it was irking me. I honestly just thought she had a familiar face.
Yeah. Honestly, so when we texted about the movie, I was like, I'm expecting some cool practical effects.
Shit, she needs to get legend bonus points too when I do the gore score.
She kind of does, yeah.
Absolutely, man. Saw is one of my top 10 horror movies of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, but what I was saying is that I was expecting this to actually be a lot cheesier than the acting.
I was too.
I thought it was going to be a lot sillier,
like
a lot
campy.
Yeah, it was more campy just because it's 80s. I figured the characters would be a little
so
cheesier.
much the 80s stuff is corny, and because of when it was made.
Even the music wasn't nearly as bad. Like sometimes you get some of that just kind of poppy,
Circusy
cheesy
shit
80s stuff. Yeah,
You're like, why would it be bouncy like that? They're fucking running through a forest trying to get away from something that's killing them.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. I was
fucking xylophone music, ding 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 ding.
Even some of the 80s slashers have that sort of music.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. It makes no sense.
Like this is the tonal mismatch is so it takes me out of those movies all the time.
That's like my main gripe for some of those movies.
Yeah.
Because the music is so piss poor, it doesn't hold up. There's no way to hold up. They need to remake. They need to have movies come out with fucking better music edition or some shit where they just go through and fix the score. Like they just fucking dude, that would be a really great money grab for some of these studios.
You probably could, yeah. You probably could do something like that.
Man, wouldn't that be cool if we could figure out how to do that? Make that like a hobby we did, like one every quarter. We take a movie and we just work on the music and try to fix it. If I had the knowledge on how to write good enough music, I would absolutely attempt that.
You could definitely probably improve some things.
Fuck
back,
Piss off a lot of directors and a lot of fucking dudes that made a lot of great music. You end up trying to fix something and realize you're fixing something that Hans Zimmer worked on. You're like, oh shit, never mind. I'm gonna leave this one alone.
Yeah, my bad. I'm stepping away.
He shows up at your house. You're like, how the fuck did you know where I live? He's like, well, fuck, I'm Hans Zimmer. You know what? You're right.
Oh man, I was gonna try and do a Hans Zimmer accent because he's like German or something, but I was like, I decided against that.
Yeah,
very quickly.
Good call. I would never attempt that. I would get laughed out of my own channel.
Oh my god,
fucking idiot. Okay, so we get the telephone thing, the phone booth scene with the sheriff involved. Though that's like a double kill basically because the sheriff floats by. I was a little bummed, man. I was a little bummed when the sheriff got killed.
Yeah, he's cool.
I liked that he was like flirting with the lady at the thing, and she was like, "I get off at 11," and I was like, yeah, "Let's go, man," because he's kind of corny, I was like, "Let's get this dude some ass." But
and he's in the Mist. He's the older guy in the Mist,
isn't he?
Yeah,
that's the other movie where I saw him recently and was like, "Oh shit, it's the dude from Billions." Because I know him from Billions. And that's where I first like saw him enough to where I would recognize him, and then rewatching these movies that I've seen. It's funny when you see a guy that you've been watching your whole life and just didn't realize it.
Oh yeah, he's been around in everything.
He's been in a lot of movies.
Yeah, he was in The Walking Dead for a while and stuff too.
Oh really?
He's been in a bunch of stuff. Yeah, tons of stuff. But yeah, that's a surprisingly brutal scene too. Like the way that it crushes in at the end, the phone booth.
If Hans Zimmer's going to write something that bad, he deserves it. Well, my point was that I wouldn't be able to tell it was that bad. If it's Hans Zimmer wrote it, I should probably just shut the fuck up because he's clearly better at that kind of stuff than I will ever be.
Probably. You're like, maybe I'm just wrong.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that. But yeah, if he actually wrote something that bad to where I could call it out, then yes, he would absolutely deserve that. That would be amazing. I kind of would like to see that. Having just some shit show of music in a movie, you're like, who wrote this? Like Hans Zimmer. He gets a fucking Razzie. Dude, that would fuck him up, dude. He would retire. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. We cannot stay on track tonight.
One of us.
I can't. Yeah, I knew where you were going. That's awesome.
So the
I should have had Carissa do this instead of me. Oh my god. She paid more attention than I did. Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay. All right.
I was just gonna say that I thought that was surprisingly brutal because the way that the phone booth like crushes in.
Hell yeah, dude. That's one of the. That's exactly why I'm claustrophobic because I fear that shit's gonna happen to me no matter what I'm doing. If I'm like, Carissa sleeps with a weighted blanket occasionally. There is no fucking way I could do that, dude.
Oh, Tori loves that stuff too.
No chance, dude. As a matter of fact, whenever Parker was a little younger, because he's not very old now, but when he was a little younger, I would let him sleep in bed with us occasionally, and he would sleep on top of me. I never got any sleep because I was like trying to keep him quiet so she could get some sleep. So he would fall asleep on top of me, and it was just he's such a big kid. He would like his arms would wrap around me a little bit, his little legs would wrap around my waist, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so fucking just like I'm just like fucking laying there just miserable. But you know, he's also kind of comfortable having your kid with you. But weighted blankets, I can't do them, man. So that scene was really effective, very good.
Yeah, they actually like shot air cannons, and that's how they did that. It just like implodes because
that's
like
badass.
Yeah,
dude,
I was like,
cool.
oh shit, that's why that looks so brutal. It's just like it just gets destroyed.
That makes a lot more sense because it does look a little almost overboard. You're like, geez Louise, like what did she do to you?
If you look carefully, the last shot as it's like breaking, it's a dummy. It's like a mannequin, but it's like such a split second shot, you really can't tell. Oh, I think he froze. Well, all right.
There we go.
Back. There you go.
Well, you froze on my end first. And so
really?
I was like, uh-oh. And then mine went about 5 seconds later, mine went. So, okay. If you look at you cut out right when you said, if you look at the last scene and then it cut out. So what were you saying about that part? Or the last frame?
The last frame, you can tell it's like a mannequin.
Oh,
like
I kind of like that stuff, man. It's like the magic of movies. Like, I like to know where the fake stuff's at sometimes. I was listening to somebody talk the other day at the shop, and they were talking about VHS and how they didn't like them because they looked. No. I'm sorry, I have it backwards. They were talking about 4K.
They liked them,
and they didn't like 4K because you could see some of the things in a 4K that you can't see on a VHS tape. And I told them, I said, you know, my personal opinion is that I like a little bit of both. I like the fact that at my store I have a VCR. It's a good VCR with a good old TV that I can put things on and enjoy them in the way that I would have enjoyed them back in the 80s and 90s. But I also like that I can get a movie from back then, like The Blob, on a high quality disc and watch it and catch cool stuff like that. Because if you're young, and let's say you're trying to make a movie, right? You need to be able to go back and research this stuff, man. You need to go back and look and see who did what and how and when. And you know, I like it. Let's see. Speaking of mannequins, did I miss y'all talking about the 80s approved date? Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
We got to be real careful saying that R word on this channel. It will get the stuff pulled. Just heads up. Yeah, they will block my videos for that. So just be careful. Just maybe say assault or something. I don't know what it is about that one word, but they don't like it. But yes, we did talk about that a little bit and how scummy that guy was.
He got what he deserved.
Sure did. So as far as that's concerned, we kill those people. That's, you know, we murder them, cut their heads right off.
Yeah, I've got no problem.
We're not about that life. We chemically castrate them. I think that might be the worst of all of the punishments, dude. I'd rather be dead. God.
That doesn't get you blocked on YouTube.
I know, right? No, it doesn't. It's fucking weird. But
you can talk about castration. That's totally fine.
No, honey, it's okay. I was just letting all of us be aware of the fact that we, you know, just so we can all keep it on the front of our brain when we're talking about it.
For sure.
Always tweaking, dude. YouTube is out there. Yes, I'm not gonna. You know what? I'm not gonna start talking about YouTube because then I will get kicked off of this shit. I did realize just now. I mean, I realized it when I was watching it, but I just put the correlation together as why they had the cop float by. Because wasn't that the lady from the diner trying to call?
Yeah.
So that's why the cop floated by, because it was more like a little Easter egg type of thing where that's who she was looking for, was that guy. And that's why he It was just it just occurred to me that that's who was on the phone was her. I was like, oh,
she calls the sheriff's department and
trying to get his attention, and they're like,
she said that he was going to the diner. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, he's at the diner. She's like, bitch, I'm at the diner. In the back.
Exactly.
Was she outside the back of it, or was it in the front? I can't remember where the phone booth was at.
Yeah.
How weird was looking at a phone booth though.
Right. I mean, it's been a while, but
I watched another movie the other night that had a phone booth in it, and it was I think it was Vacancy, and it had Underworld, Kate Beckinsale, and she runs to the phone booth, and she's trying to call 911, and it's dark, and she opens it up, and the light comes on. And when she shuts the door, the light comes on to, like, illuminate the booth for you to see. And I thought, man, I forgot about that stuff. Like when I was a kid, I mean, I remember when phone booths were a thing because, I mean, when I was real young, we used phone booths in Houston. Like, and then I remember when they went to just the outside little shell phones, the payphone things where they had their phone bank. I remember when those started getting put up everywhere. But I mean, I remember driving down out in this part of town in Katy when I was a kid. None of this shit was here, and it would be a long country road, like down Fry Road. You'd be going all the way down Fry Road. And then there would be like a phone booth set up for emergencies, and it was just out in the middle of nowhere, just a big ass phone booth. Like it's weird to think that stuff used to exist, and we would never even think of that as being a thing now. Anyways, so what happened after that one? It was
Yeah, I'm trying to think what the order of events was after that.
I always get this kind of stuff mixed up. I'm really bad about remembering.
The next one that sticks out is the movie theater. You know, the guy, the projectionist gets killed.
Oh, that's right.
And he's sticking to the ceiling. Was
he calling somebody and trying to get? It was hot or something. He was like, "It's hot in here."
Yeah. And the air it wasn't working.
Yeah,
and he sticks his head in the air in the vent.
And he was calling and bitching about it, and he's like, "No, why don't you come down here and check it out?" All I could have was flashbacks of me calling John at the mini mall, being like, "Man, it's fucking hot in here. I'm fat. Man, come check it out." But yeah, dude, the projectionist, poor guy. He didn't.
And then he just that was a really cool one too, because he was playing with a yo-yo, and then the other guy comes in when he's sticking to the ceiling. You just see the yo-yo fall down, and he looks.
Yes, dude, I love little stuff. Those are the little details that make these movies really cool. Because without stuff like that, I mean, look, if the yo-yo didn't come down, would we really care? Probably not. But the fact that they took the time to make that a part of the movie is really cool. That's like when you write a book and the chapter could be 3 pages, but you make it 5 because you want people to really see what you're talking about and you want to explain things. That's the same kind of thought process.
It's the little details that flesh out the world and make it feel more real.
Yes, fleshing out is a really good term to describe. I mean, that's pretty much what fleshing out is, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. And the movie theater, that whole set is from the original movie too.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was something that they kept. So like the Blob coming out and like killing everyone in the movie theater.
I think cool. I remember seeing something about the Blob being in a movie theater on the old version, but I haven't seen the movie, so I didn't really know what it was referencing.
Yeah. It really surprised me that they killed one of those little kids.
I love it when kids get the axe in a movie because it's more realistic.
That was one of the things about this movie that kept me like kind of on the edge of my seat because you never knew who was going to get it the whole time.
That's pretty accurate. As soon as the first guy gets got, you're like, whoa, anybody's...
It really made the whole movie feel dangerous. Like anyone could actually die. And that's especially when they killed that kid, I was like, holy crap. They just killed one of those little... the girl's brothers.
Wasn't it the girl's brother? The little kid that was a little bad kid didn't get hurt, did he?
Oh, I think so.
The one that was listening to music and chewing gum and being all bratty and shit. He didn't get it, but the good kid did. That's the way it would go. That's the way it would go, little bastards. Oh man,
so cool. Yeah, so much cool stuff.
You know, one of the parts that I really liked about this movie had nothing to do with a kill scene, but it was just a really great little ha 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 moment. Was when they go to the pharmacy and the kid's like, "Can I get some condoms?" And then he's like, "No, they're not for me, man. They're for my friend." And he's telling him about the other kid. And then they go to the girl's house, and it's the pharmacist guy. I thought it was going to be the cop, but he pulls the paper down and it's the pharmacist. And I was like, "Oh, it's so much better."
And he's just like ribbed.
Ribbed. Oh god, dude,
that was hilarious.
Do you remember going to buy a clearly you don't. So
I mean, I have.
I remember the first time I ever went to go buy condoms, and you know what the guy behind the counter said to me? He goes, "Hey, why are you buying these?" Like, you're not gonna use these. Like, you're not getting laid, bro. You fucking dork. Like, come on, why are you buying these, man? I was like, really? Fuck, bro. I felt so defeated, dude. He was like a 21-year-old, and I was barely 18. He just clowned my ass, and I was there with 2 of my friends, and they were both like, "Oh, fucking idiot." And they didn't say idiot. They said a word you can't say anymore, but you know, smacking me in my head and shit. Oh man, dude, 90s were awesome. 2000 was a great year. Other way around. The brother was fine. His friend died. Oh, it was a little shit talker that got it. Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't really remember.
Go figure. Carissa's like, no, stupid. It was this.
I thought the stuff with the government experiment stuff was cool, because that was a twist that they added onto the plot that wasn't part of the original. Because in the original, it's just like an alien that falls down on a comet.
What, buying condoms? That's awesome. So the government part was the only part I didn't like.
Really?
I don't dislike it enough to complain about it, but if I had to pick a part to maybe shave off and add more stuff on another part of the movie, I would go take that out, add more alien, rampage. But
yeah, I mean, I think they were just like, because you don't want it to get
a little
too repetitive.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
At a certain point, they're like, okay, we've done enough.
How long is this movie?
It's 95 minutes.
Okay, it was pretty short, huh?
Yeah.
I thought it was a great length too, man.
Perfect. Yeah.
That's one thing you can count on for. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's one thing you can count on for 90s and 80s movies is that a lot of the horror movies were strictly there to entertain people. There was no on some of them there were, obviously, but most of the movies there was no narrative about government or people or this or that. It was just, here's a horror movie. At least that's the way I look at them. I mean, obviously things like Body Snatchers, right? But even that, I don't know, man. To me, it doesn't have much to do with political stuff, more so than it does like science fiction. But I guess it's all subjective.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's just how I view those movies. I look at them as just schlocky fun, where they don't have it's not an important thinker of a movie. But that might just go with the way I like to watch movies, because that's also how I listen to music. I listen to music to escape more than I do to learn and be angry about stuff. I try to get away from being angry by listening to music and watching movies, because I have such a short temper, and I've always been into that stuff anyways. But now that I'm saying it out loud, I guess it doesn't sound accurate at all, really. But
there was tons of escapist entertainment for sure.
But
I think there was just, the 80s was, there was Cold War. There was, there was a lot of stuff going on in the 80s. There was plenty of political stuff.
Yeah, I just feel like back then you had a good 90-minute popcorn flick was so prevalent in movies. They were just everywhere. Just a 90-minute popcorn flick. You grab your candy and your food, grab your friends, watch this monster movie. And it was like the 50s did that too, man. The 50s and the 80s both had a lot of that from my vantage point. I guess that could be different for everybody, which I think is a good thing. This movie also came out right on the tail of the Cold War, so the Feds developing biowarfare was plausible. Okay.
Yeah. So after water,
look, big words, quit. No.
So, to be perfectly honest, after Watergate in the 70s is when we really lost faith in the government, and you start seeing a lot more of this sort of thing, where you see movies where they're criticizing and making the government look like an evil entity.
It's funny you mentioned that, because that's something even I can recognize that, because that is the point in time when, as a country, we finally woke up and we're like, oh crap, they don't necessarily have our best interest in mind.
The 70s changed a lot of that stuff.
I find it pretty, because we all grew up way after that, right? So I find it really mind-blowing that people used to blindly just trust the government no matter what party was in charge, and they just were like, no, we vote, but for mostly for outer limit stuff, but interior they all have the same things in mind, and all have the same goals. Our government has our best interest in mind, and woo-ha America, this and that. And it was just a blind faith. And I mean, honestly, I kind of wish we could have that. It'd be nice, wouldn't it, if you could have a reason to have that kind of faith? But it just seems so unrealistic to me that I can't imagine.
It sounds sort of idealistic,
utopian. You're like, yes, that's a great idea. Let's go to that place.
But also just naive,
Very. Very.
Yeah.
That's a good word. Naive, man. I feel like the people that were alive back then. Because I've asked my mom. I'm like, Mom, how did you guys view stuff? And my mom, that's how my mom would tell me. She's like, no, my dad, my grandpa would be, now if the government had to do it, it's good for us to do it. And then he worked in like lower level stuff. I don't remember exactly what it was he did, but he was of the mind that if they say to do it, it's for a reason, and they're not leading us on the wrong path. So let's just go do what they say. When in reality, dude, like really, like you trust politicians to do that for you? Like maybe back when George Washington was trying to get our country founded and become a place to live, maybe, but we're talking 10,000 people.
Maybe honest Abe.
Yeah, dude, somebody, man. But I mean, look what happened to that poor guy. Look, and they're like, he's too honest, kill him. But
he likes black people.
Oh, geez, that was a no-go back then, dude. That was a no-go back then. Oh, geez, I almost said something really like out of line.
Sorry, I steered it way too political, I guess.
But yeah, well, I mean, but it is, and I don't usually talk much political stuff on my channel because I like to. This is my escapism stuff, but it is a reality of life, and I just found it so crazy that back then people just were like, yes, what they said, like go with them. But yeah, man, can you imagine what it was like to see Watergate happen and to be an adult in that era and be like, wait, what's happening? He did what? Our president did what now? And you're like, well, he lied to everybody for like years and years and years. And you're like, wait, the president lied? You're like, because nowadays you're like, wait, you think he's telling the truth? Like, I don't know, man. I think he's probably lied about something. Like, it just seems so backwards to me. That's a shame, though.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think about the end of this movie?
I was about to ask you what you thought of the preacher subplot, because that was the one part, and sort of the whole end sequence was the one part I was just like, okay, nah, didn't totally satisfy me.
I didn't really understand why it was in the movie.
Yeah,
it just didn't really feel like it fit to me. It felt like they were like, because back then was like the heyday of televangelism, so I feel like they were maybe poking and prodding at that.
Yeah.
I do think, but I don't really understand it, to be quite honest with you.
I do think if making the comparison to The Mist again, it does have a similar subplot with the crazy evangelist Christian lady. So I feel like that's a kind of a Frank Darabont thing.
Okay.
You remember what I'm talking about?
No, I very, very vividly remember the Mist lady. But on this movie, I don't really feel like it was as prevalent in the film.
No, it's not as big of a part, but it is.
I was making sure I didn't miss something. So, yeah, I really felt like it was misplaced, to be honest. I feel like they could have just taken that part out because I didn't really care for it. I don't like religious stuff in movies to begin with because they almost always misrepresent it. Like, it's almost always the extreme and the exception to the rule versus how people normally act in that world. Look, I understand there's a lot of people that need a lot of work on that side of things, but dude, I've met a lot of people from that community, and most of them are very nice. Most of them are very, they might be a little judgmental, but I don't even know that it's on purpose sometimes. I think they're just kind of, I don't think they mean to be, it's just like when you talk to somebody that's the other side of things, you're like, yeah, but they're really brash and rude. Okay, they don't mean to be so defensive. They're just, they're flawed. They're people. So I hate that they always represented as the psycho crazy person's always religious. It just irritates me. I have my own views on that stuff, and it just seems kind of lazy, honestly, because dude, out of all the people that I know that are shitty, only a handful of those people would claim to be religious.
You think it was a setup for a sequel? I don't.
Maybe. I do know that they were gonna do a Blob 2. For sure.
Really?
Yeah, they were for sure going to have a second one. I almost thought it was actually released, but it may not have ever come out. Because he had that thing in the glass jar. So I mean, it does seem like he could have had a sequel going on where he was trying to use it to control shit, and it got out of hand again.
Yeah,
boom, sequel right there, man. We wrote it.
It was like they were trying to show that the preacher, when he saw the blob, it changed his like outlook on like religion or something.
That's not what I was taking from it, but that's cool.
Yeah, because as soon as he sees him, he's like starts changing, and then like he ends up creating his own cult. So
is that what that was? It was a cult, like a culty thing, like his own.
That's what it seemed like to me.
I wasn't sure. I saw it and was like, not sure how to feel about this.
It felt very Stephen King to me.
Oh, kind of did, bro.
Stephen King does a lot of that sort of thing.
Man, you know what? That's exactly what it felt like. Is it felt Stephen King-esque?
Yeah.
That the ending of this movie.
Well,
that's weird. That's dude, man.
The Mist.
I'm glad you
Stephen
said
King.
that. Yeah.
He does. I mean, almost every Stephen King. I've read a lot of Stephen King. You know, seen a lot of his movies, and almost every single story he writes, he has some sort of religious zealot.
Yeah, some crazy psycho.
Yeah,
Christian person or whatever.
Yeah, a lot of them. It's a common theme.
He must have had a really bad experience with that stuff. I'd love to hear from his mouth,
Probably.
like what he dealt with when he was younger, to make it so prevalent in his storytelling, because it really, really is a major point in a lot of his stuff. Maybe not major, but it's always right up front. You don't miss it. You'd have to work to miss it.
Mm-hmm. He also got bullied by greasers a lot. That's why they're always the bad guys.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That is hilarious.
So he's got a ton of movies where the greasers are the bad guys.
Dude, that is hilarious. I did not know that. Man, he would have fucking hated me. I like the casting of the crazy church lady in The Mist. That woman plays a perfect psycho religious nut, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
She's a good actor, but I hate her. She's never somebody that I like.
She did a great job of making you hate her. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, everything I've ever seen her in, I've been like, oh, this lady again. I never liked her in anything, dude.
She's kind of got resting bitch face.
She really does. Oh, man, you got to love resting bitch face. Man, it should be legal to headbutt women that look like that. Just you can't hit them with your hands. No hands. No, you can't kick them. You can only use your forehead. But if you can get them with your forehead, you're good. So they have an opportunity to grab you and maybe scratch you or something. But you can smack them in the man. We need to legalize all kinds of violent things, because I'm telling you, if I was talking the other day, they needed to bring back duels, because if they had the opportunity for duels and some dude was running his fucking mouth on Twitter and you're like, all right, bitch, meet me here. It's a contract. You have to. Boom. People would shut the fuck up. Even if it was
take turns shooting at each other. So one of us dies.
I was thinking swords, but shooting. Oh,
swords?
Fine. Yeah, I was thinking swords when I thought of it. I was like, yeah, show up with like a sword or a mace and a shield or something and be like, all right, we got to go at this. Okay. And there's just some unruly crowd drinking lots of fucking ale.
I was thinking more like Victorian area where they would they both have pistols with 1 shot each.
10 steps out, turn around, boom. You know what? I'll take either. They both sound like a blast.
But they take turns. So.
Oh, that's even scarier. Oh, you know what? I heard about that. I heard that they used to, like, if you shot and the other guy didn't shoot yet, you had to stand there and let him take a shot at you.
Yes.
What the shit?
There's a Stanley Kubrick movie, which I know you're not a fan of him, really.
No, but it's all right.
But he did a movie called Barry Lyndon.
I've never even heard of that.
And there's a famous duel scene. Well, you should just watch the duel scene, because it's probably like 8 minutes long, and it's so tense.
That sounds awesome.
And it's just them, like, they have to take turns shooting at each other.
That's ridiculous.
It's so like silly, and because it's just the thought of that is so silly.
Well, do you know one of our presidents? I think it was. No, I guess he wasn't a president. Maybe it was Andrew Jackson. Was he a president? I can't remember. But there's somebody famous. I thought it was a president. Had a duel and killed a man.
Oh, I think I've heard that.
They had the duel, and then they turned around. I think they turned around, but to my recollection is they walked out, they turned around, the guy shot, boom, and it looked as though he didn't shoot Andrew Jackson. So Andrew Jackson got to take a shot. He went to go take the shot, and he did something, and it misfired, and
the powder blew up on him.
It did something, but it never projected the bullet. So they gave him another shot. They said, no, you didn't actually shoot at the guy. And he was like, all right. And then he shoots the guy dead right there in front of everybody. And then he crumbles to the ground because he was actually shot the whole time. But the rule was, if you fell, you didn't get to take your shot. So he made himself stand up long enough. And that's why he didn't get the shot the first time, is because he didn't do it right, because he was already fucked up. So he loaded his, whatever he did that with whatever gun he was using, he didn't do the action the correct way. And so he had to go and basically get a redo and kill the guy dead in front of a bunch of people. That's probably a very bad rendition of that story, but it's fairly crazy.
I feel like I've heard that before.
But yeah, he definitely got shot, and and was still able to stand up and shoot that other guy. And everybody was like, "Holy crap, he killed him!" Like, yeah, they're shooting at each other. I guess he did kill him, huh?
Yeah, that
It'd be
is crazy.
more crazy if they both shot each other and didn't die back then. Like, oh my god, they both lived. Like, dude, they should set up duels, but make you use slingshots so you don't die from it. You just really hurt the other person.
Oh my god.
Dude, can you imagine marbles getting flung at you with a slingshot? Like, ow, stop, fuck, oh god. Oh man, let's go. Dennis the Menace would be king of that shit. Dude, what am I talking about right now? What is
I don't know.
happening?
You're all over the place. What did you think about the climax of the movie where they actually like freeze the blob and like how all that ended?
I don't like very many movie endings. It's usually about the journey for me.
Yeah, because I was super into it for like 90% of the movie, and then like the last like 5 minutes, I was like, okay, cool.
I think I had the exact same feeling. I was super, super into it, and the last 5 minutes or so was just, while not just terrible, I just thought, what a lazy ass way to end this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Although I did like, you know what? Never mind. Because didn't it snow?
Yeah, well, they do a good job of setting that up in the very beginning.
Well, no, the reason that I was changing my mind is because it would have been lazy that stupid ass ice truck thing worked, but it didn't. It actually didn't work, and then it snowed, and that's kind of clever. I can give them some points for that. I would like a different thing to happen, but you know, how else are you going to wrap that up in a few minutes when you're trying to make a movie? You know, you do have to think about that. You have to be like, okay, how do we make this come to an end fairly quick without?
That's one of the
really
cool
dumb
things about that particular the blob. Like, how do you kill it? You know, what else can you really do? Yeah, they did
how'd they find out? What was it they did that they found out? They found out
I think it was the fire extinguishers.
Oh, that's right. And it froze the part. No. They were in the freezer.
Oh, that's right.
And it tried to come in, and then it went and like backed out. I can't believe I remembered something finally. There we go. Yeah.
And they do pretty much the same thing in the original too.
Really?
It's freezing. They freeze it at the
end. As a
end.
matter of fact, the freezer, Death by Mulligan. That's awesome. The freezer is the only set in that whole movie that I was severely disappointed in. It looked so fake. Like they didn't even have any breath coming out of their mouth. I was like, come on, put them in a real freezer for 10 minutes. Jesus Lord. Like how hard is it to put them in an actual freezer? And all the shit that looked like it had frozen shit on it, it was clearly just like paint. Like it just wasn't. I don't know. I remember it irritating me, but not a lot.
Honestly, that's one that I missed. I wasn't really paying attention to that part.
Sleeping, huh? Yeah.
No, not sleeping.
No. Okay. Like taking a shit, actually. Cool, man. Well, this is a great movie, a great pick. I'm glad we watched it.
Next time kind of surprised the hell out of me, to be honest.
I'll try to pick a left field winner for us next time we do one of these together because I had a blast talking with you about it.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun talking with you and Chris, but it's always nice to have one of y'all on the show with me for a little bit. We can just kind of go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
We always end up like waiting on each other a lot on the other show.
Mm-hmm.
One of us is always fixing to say something, so the other two stop. But there's like some kind of like, I don't know if it's like a time thing, like a delay thing, but it's always like little bits of waiting, and we're just trying to be courteous, and it's a little easier to go back and forth with one person sometimes.
For sure, yeah, it's a different dynamic, and we're also trying to make sure we all get an opportunity to talk.
Correct. Yes.
So it's different, but yeah, this is fun. This was fun.
So I am gonna go ahead and do like a 5 to 7 minute little recap video with the gore score on this one because I did enjoy this movie, man. I had a lot of fun watching it, and I'd like to watch it again. I got a couple hours to kill before I go to bed tonight, so I might throw it back on the night. I have my son's birthday is tomorrow on the 6th of May. So I will be pretty busy this weekend with his birthday party and then a pay-per-view. So I probably won't be doing the live stream till Sunday night this week. I guess nobody will even know from hearing this because there's only a couple people on live, but I'll make a post about it. But yeah, I think I might sit down and watch the Blob again just to veg out for a little bit. But I mean, it's not only an hour and a half. It gets me in bed by midnight still. So yeah,
I would honestly happily sit down and watch it again too.
Right.
It's just solid fun entertainment.
Dude, that guy's that fucking hair, dude. I can't hardly get the hair.
The mullet was,
and it was like, dude, and it was like a big mullet, bro. It was like,
yeah,
the mullet had a mullet. It was like, yo, what? Like,
it was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Dude, the fact that hairstyle is sort of in vogue right now makes me so sad. Like,
I never thought mullets would come back.
Me neither, dude.
I thought that was one hairstyle that would stay.
Dude, I've
dead.
had barbers the last 3 or 4 times I've been to get my haircut tell me, yeah, I've cut 3 or 4 mullets today. I'm like, what? Would you stop doing that to these people? Like, would you not let them come in here and tell you to cut a mullet? I would have a big ass sign on my door, no mullets. We had signs at our tattoo shop that said we don't do tribal. Like,
oh really?
Straight up, dude. We were like, nope, ain't doing that shit. It's a lot of work, takes a long time, it's very boring. And so it also costs a lot because it takes a long time. So people always come in, they want these big tribal pieces, and it's like 7 hours of just sitting there going black.
Yeah, it's just all filler.
Dude, it's so boring. So we would be like, look, if you want tribal, I know our hourly rates back then it was $100 an hour. It's $200 for tribal. They're like, what? No. I'm like, bro, if you had to do the absolute worst part of your job for an entire day, you would want to get paid more too. Like, it was really mostly just a deterrent. We would rather not even have the $200 an hour, really. And dude, that's the one thing I'm glad I never had to do a lot of was tribal tattooing. So, anyways, hell yeah, man. What you got going on tomorrow? Anything? Dude, Saturday's gonna be fun, bro. This card is gonna be awesome, man.
Oh yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to the card.
Obviously, it's gonna be great seeing all the kids and everybody, but like the real fun for the adults is gonna start around 5:30, 6 o'clock, whenever the prelims and shit start getting kicked off. Because man, this card, dude, did you know that almost every fighter on this main card, almost all of them have been a champion at one point?
I hadn't thought of it, but that makes sense. Yeah.
OSP fought for a title. Shogun Hua was the champion. Donald Cerrone fought for the title twice. Joe Lozon is the only one that has not been a champion or fought for the title. Everybody else has either fought for it or been a champion. Wow. That's bananas, dude.
Yeah, it's a stacked card.
I think somebody said there was 90 fight bonuses given out just with the guys on the top 5 fights. So the main card only, there was 90 bonuses earned on those fighters, between those fighters.
Wow.
What the fuck, dude? That is so bananas. And the best part is that like most of it's between just Justin Gaethje and Donald Cerrone. They've got like 20 something between the two of them.
That's hilarious.
That is amazing. But cool, man. Well, I will talk to you tomorrow. I'll shoot a text to Chris to see how he's doing. Make sure he gets home safe.
Yeah.
And
see you at the movie tomorrow.
Oh yeah. I'll be up there tomorrow for sure. Oh, I forgot to. Dude, these days are just all kinds of jumbled.
You know, weird connection. The movie we're seeing tomorrow, Dreamscape.
Yeah,
it's actually written by the director of this movie.
That is weird.
I thought that was so strange.
That is fucking dumb. Yo, I'm gonna print out a gore score sheet tomorrow and take it to the theater with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, why not, man?
I don't know that this one's gonna be, Well,
we're sitting in row 2. At least I am. You got a seat next to me?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so we're sitting in row 2, so it's up out of the way. If there's not somebody sitting right next to me, it shouldn't bother anybody. And if it ends up bothering you because because the paper might get lit up by the thing under the table, I was going to use the table light that was already there and lit up to write on it. So maybe I'll just write it on one of the little server card things and just jot down notes. I know what's on the sheet, so I can probably do that. But cool. I would like to do videos on the movies we watch. I don't know why I don't do it. It's like a free movie review every week. I'm going anyways. May as well do the video.
I definitely am coming next week because they're
doing next week?
Double feature, Basket Case, and Brain Dead.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's next week. That is going to be packed, dude. Are they even? Holy crap, dude! Let's look and see how many tickets are still available.
Let's go ahead and get off the live, and then we can do that.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll see y'all next time. I forgot we were live. I'm tripping. All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out, man. We'll see you next time. Another episode of Horror Hangout. Before then, I'm sure we'll have Shopcast next Thursday. We're doing
Cruising
with Al Pacino. So if you're into that kind of thing, be sure to stop by with your leather on, folks. All right.
Your wife.
Bring a sheet for Josh to write down what you sleep through. I was gonna bring two. Don't worry, sweetheart. Thank you, honey. Awesome. All right, everybody, man. Y'all have a good night. We'll see y'all soon. Peace.